All right, today, let's go over the routine that I would use on you if you came into my salon. All right, so the entire point of this routine is to get your hair as healthy as possible while using the least amount of products possible. Why the fewest? Because that will keep your hair fresh and bouncy so you can go longer between washes. And why do you want to go longer between washes? Because washes are traumatic for your hair. Imagine your favorite pair of jeans. If you wash them every single day, they would get wore out immediately. With jeans, that might be okay because you can just head to Target and get a new pair. But I promise you, Target does not sell you a new head of hair. And because of that, we're setting a goal of going at least 3 days between washes. And if you're not able to do that right now, it's totally fine. About to show you how. Recently, there's been a big push for scalp health, and that's a really good thing because a healthy scalp does help you have healthy hair. These bamboo brushes have been getting really popular. The idea is that if you run this through your hair for 5 minutes straight, it will stimulate your scalp, distribute the oil throughout your hair to make it nice and shiny, and since they're made of bamboo, they're really good for the environment. But personally, I have a different take on this. Number one, it's not that great for the environment because they had to cut down a tree for you to have an extra brush. And number two, brushing your scalp for 5 minutes straight is more likely to cause irritation than do anything good. And irritation means that your scalp is going to produce extra oil, so you'll just have to wash it more often. And number three, you don't want to redistribute the natural oil on your head. Go ahead and smell it real quick for me. Do you really want to spread that smell throughout all of your hair? You actually want to keep your natural hair oil all in the same place right on your scalp so you can come in and easily neutralize it with dry shampoo. If you spread it all over, it's gonna be a total mess. So please save your money and trust me when I say that the unlock for the hair of your dreams isn't brushing your scalp for 5 minutes. It comes from having an actual strategy, a hair routine that addresses every need your hair has, not following whatever trend is popular in the moment. If that worked, everyone would already have amazing hair. Let's keep it moving and talk about your shampoo routine, starting with the amount of hair you should be shedding. I have a client who has a ton of hair. It's super long, super thick, and it's kind of her thing. She really loves her hair. She came into my salon one day saying that she had read an article saying you're only supposed to lose 50 to 100 hairs per day, and she was losing way more than that, so she was kind of panicking. So she says to me, Chris, why didn't you tell me that I'm going bald? I trusted you and you're supposed to warn me with this type of stuff. I handed her a mirror and asked her to show me exactly where she was going bald. She waved around, she's looking all around, and she saw that her hair was exactly the same. She wasn't going bald at all. She's one of those people who just has really thick hair, and it's totally normal for someone like that to shed a lot of hair. There's no such thing as an average amount of hair shed per day. It's all over the place. It's an extremely individual thing. If you came into my salon and helped clean the brushes, you'd see exactly what I mean. The only thing that you need to do is see how much you normally shed and then keep an eye on that. If it ever changes, then you can be worried. If you're shedding the exact same amount as always, don't worry about it. Just keep an eye on it and don't get worried unless it suddenly increases. Hair was not always easy for me. I was terrible in the beginning because I was going up against other stylists who had experience on their own hair, and obviously I didn't have that. I had to put in 10 times the work and 10 times the effort. I took home Miss Alexis every single night to practice on her. I did a 1,000 blowout challenge just to catch up. It turned out to be a blessing in disguise because after I caught up, I still had that underdog mentality. And by that, I mean that I never got comfortable and took things for granted. I was constantly testing every product I could get my hands on, and I was trying every technique in every order possible. That is why I say this is my life's work. I really think you should try it out. It's already transformed a lot of people's hair. All right, oiling pre-wash has also gotten really popular. This tradition comes from way back in the day in India before modern hair care. I just want to say that oil is amazing for your hair. It does everything from making it shiny to sealing moisture in. It's great stuff. But washing your hair is a process of removing oil and buildup from your hair and scalp. So putting oil on right before you shampoo, total waste. And the thing is, it's not just a waste of oil. You're actually wasting shampoo to remove the extra oil that you wasted. Oil should go on your hair after you wash so it stays on your hair and you get continued benefits, not before you wash. All right, moving on to shampoo. The shampoo you use really matters. Most people aren't using the correct shampoo for their hair type or their hair goals. When you have the wrong shampoo, you aren't able to get your hair all the way clean, and it can either be too light or too heavy for your hair. This throws off your entire routine, wash days, and everything, so it's extremely important that you find what I call your shampoo soulmate. This is literally step one on your healthy hair journey. You're gonna be really frustrated and really struggle to make any progress until you find your shampoo soulmate. If you haven't found your shampoo soulmate, I have a video that goes way into the details. You'll find your perfect match right up here. All right, let's quickly touch on clarifying shampoos. The common advice with clarifying shampoos is that you want to use it once a month to get rid of all the buildup. But I want you to think about that for a second, and why would you only want clean hair once a month? Would you be okay with only getting your dishes clean once a month? The truth is, most clients don't know how to properly wash their hair, and most stylists recommend clarifying shampoos every once in a while just to clean up the mess instead of actually going through the hassle of teaching their clients how to properly wash. Personally, I love teaching, and it isn't a hassle at all to me. Learning how to properly wash makes a huge difference in your hair. If you don't get the wash right, everything else in your routine falls apart, so let's do a quick run through. All right, let's talk about how you apply shampoo to your hair. And the trick is that you aren't actually applying the shampoo to your hair. You want to apply your shampoo to your scalp because that's where all the smelly oil is that we were talking about earlier. Your hair does not produce oil. Your scalp produces the oil. And for that reason, shampoo only goes on your scalp, never on the length of your hair. The length of your hair has no oil, so putting shampoo on it is just gonna strip the natural healthy oils from your hair and dry it out. And people always ask, so how do I get the length of my hair clean? The truth is, quality products will rinse out with warm water, but if you aren't using the greatest products in the world, you still never want to apply shampoo directly to your mids or ends. Instead, you're just going to take a little bit of lather from up top, bring it down the length of your hair, work it in a little bit. That's all it needs. Never apply shampoo directly to your mids or ends. You also want to watch out for another trend that's going around, which is lathering your shampoo all over your hands. It's a big no-no. Like we said, your shampoo needs to get down to the scalp where the oil is. But if you lather it all up in your hands, it gets light and fluffy, and it can be really hard to get that fluff all the way down through your hair onto your scalp. Instead, you're gonna apply the shampoo while it's still in the liquid form and press down onto your scalp, then start lathering. And as you do that, it will expand underneath the hair to get you full coverage and get everything clean. And yes, it's way easier to lather it in your hands and just throw it on top, but that does not get your hair clean. That's a lot like your 6-year-old nephew putting some bubbles on top of his head and saying, I'm clean, I don't need to take a bath. You're still dirty, take a bath. One last note on oil is that it's one of the hardest things to get clean. If you've ever had to clean a pan that was full of bacon grease, you know you can't just throw a little soap on there and rinse it off. The best way to get a greasy pan clean is to wash it more than once, and your hair is exactly the same. You need to wash it twice to get all of the oil so it's all the way clean. But washing it twice does not mean wasting shampoo. I'm going to show you a quick trick to use the perfect amount of shampoo. And why is the perfect amount of shampoo so important? Because if you don't use enough, your hair isn't going to get clean. But if you use too much shampoo, you can actually strip the natural moisture from your hair and dry it out. So let's go over exactly how you do this. I call it the perfect wash. You're gonna start out by putting shampoo in one hand. You're gonna take some of it and put it in the top back of your hair, pushing it all the way up on the scalp. One thing that really helps is spreading your hair apart before you do this, because that's the densest part of your head and oil loves to hide there, so make sure you get it real good. Next, you're gonna take a little bit more shampoo and put it on the top of your head, starting about an inch back from your hairline, and just press it down onto the scalp. And not on top of the hair, down onto the scalp. Then you're gonna take what's left, quickly run it over both palms, and put it on the sides of your hair, back, pressing all the way down to put it on the scalp. Now you're gonna start working it in with your fingertips. You're literally dissolving the oil into the shampoo, so you need to be firm in your pressure and make sure to get in there. You can't just swirl your hands around however you want. You need to get in there with your fingertips and literally mix the shampoo with the oil so they bind together and wash out together. All right, so you've now got the first layer of oil off your scalp, but as we know, there's still more oil in there, so we need to go in one more time. For your second wash, I want you to do exactly the same thing, except you're going to use less shampoo than you think you need to, and I'll tell you why in just a second. On the second shampoo, you're looking to get a lot of lather. Lather appears when there's no more oil or dirt for your shampoo to bind to. This only applies to professional shampoo, drugstore brands, don't even use them. So your job is to wash until you have lots of lather. That's your signal that your hair is clean. So back to using less shampoo than we thought we needed. If you don't get tons of lather on the second wash, all you're going to do is add more shampoo until you do get tons of lather. So basically, instead of dumping a bunch of shampoo in your hand and hoping it's the right amount, you can use this strategy to use the perfect amount. And that's important because you're not only saving on shampoo, you're also making sure that you don't use so much shampoo that you strip your hair of the natural moisture. All right, so now that you know how to do a perfect shampoo, it's time to condition your hair. You have the option of using either conditioner or a hair mask. And a lot of people aren't sure, like, how often do I use a hair mask? Do I need to use a hair mask and a conditioner? How does this all work? Masks and conditioners are extremely similar. They moisturize your hair from the inside. And there are very, very few products that actually moisturize your hair on the inside. And the only moisture that counts is moisture on the inside. Otherwise, you can just put some water on your hair and it will be hydrated. It doesn't work like that. Another thing about masks is that they're basically super conditioners. They do everything a conditioner does, except better. So using a conditioner after a mask is just a waste of product. You can do it, it won't hurt anything, but really you're just donating money to the hair industry, and frankly, there's better causes. All right, let's go over the quick steps on how to apply them. Masks and conditioners should be put on your mids and ends. You never want to put them up here around your scalp because it'll make it heavy and make it so you have to wash your hair really soon. Before you put this in your hair, you want to get rid of the excess water, otherwise a lot of it won't be able to actually get inside your hair. And the way you're going to do that is not by twisting and tangling your hair. That just creates knots and tangles. You don't want to do that. If you have long hair, it's just to kind of take it in a ponytail and wring it out with your hands. You don't need to be super strict. You're just trying to get most of the water out. That's all you need to do. If you have short hair, you can just kind of take your hair without putting the conditioner or mask in there. Take your hands and just kind of against your head, wring the excess water out just like that. As long as your hair isn't sopping wet, you're good to go. It'll be absorbed just fine. For a conditioner, I would usually let it sit for about 2 minutes, and for a hair mask, I would let it sit for about 8 to 10 minutes. That means that the best way to do this is to start your shower routine with your hair, do everything else, whatever you have to do, and then at the end, come back and rinse out the conditioner or rinse out the hair mask. And I get a lot of people telling me, like, Chris, I can't get out all the conditioner. Like, no matter what I do, I can still feel the conditioner in there. Don't worry about that. Totally fine. You actually want to have a tiny bit left in there. You don't want to strip it all off. Don't worry about that. All right, so now that you know how to wash your hair perfectly and you know how to put on a conditioner or a hair mask perfectly, it is time to dry your hair. And yes, the best way to do that is to use a microfiber towel. That's what I use on all my clients. The reason for that is they don't catch or snag on your hair the way a normal towel would. But honestly, if you just use a t-shirt, that's fine too. The thing that messes most people up here is actually the technique of drying their hair, not the type of towel that they use. The absolute last thing that you want to do is the washing machine here. This is really bad to dry your hair like that. When you're drying your hair, you want to be nice and gentle. You don't want to tangle it into knots. You don't want to pull it this way and pull it that way. The best way to do it is to put your towel around your hair and then just press it into your hair. You're just going to press it into the water so that it gets absorbed. Going like this, it's going to create tangles, it's going to create knots, it could possibly break your hair. Not a good idea. All right, so now for the fun part, let's talk about products. And remember, again, we're going for the least amount of products possible to address all of your hair needs. The more products you use, the more your hair will be weighed down and producty, and the sooner you'll have to wash it. We want fresh, bouncy hair that stays clean for days. It's easier on your hair, easier on your lifestyle, and this routine is laid on the foundation of my Trinity Healthy Hair Routine. Most people don't realize this, but masks and conditioners are awesome. They super hydrate your hair, so it holds way more moisture than it ever would be able to naturally. Over the next couple of hours, that moisture is gonna leak right out of your hair, and your hair is gonna go back to its normal dry state, unless you have a secret weapon. The biggest secret in hair care, which I am shouting from the rooftops, is that you only need one product to lock in all that moisture and keep your hair super hydrated all the time. Hair is really not hard. You've just been taught hair from people who are trying to sell you a ton of products instead of trying to help you have great hair. When you walk into an Ulta or a Sephora, they're gonna steer you towards products that treat symptoms. Dry hair, split ends, treatments for this, treatments for that. You don't need any of that silliness if you just get this step right and lock in all that moisture in your super hydrated hair. It really is that easy. If you solve this one problem, you get rid of all the downstream symptoms. If you take anything from this video, it's that you need to use leave-in conditioner. And please do not get confused. Leave-in treatments are not leave-in conditioners. Leave-in conditioners are water-based, they're spray, they're super light, and you will never even know that they're in your hair. And yes, you need to use regular conditioner and leave-in conditioner. They work like a lock and a key. They're amazing together, but completely useless without each other. So leave-in conditioner should be sprayed on your towel-dried hair, 6 to 8 sprays if you have fine hair, 8 to 12 sprays if you have medium hair, and 12 to 16 sprays if you have coarse hair. If you aren't sure which hair type you are, check out my recommended product list. It has a whole hair type quiz in there. It spells out everything for you. All right, so you've washed your hair perfectly, you've conditioned your hair perfectly, you've added your leave-in conditioner so you have it super hydrated. The next thing you need to do is decide if you are going to air dry it or blow dry it. You'll hear people say that air drying is bad because having wet hair for a long time expands the inside of the hair shaft, causing damage. But I have never seen that. Air drying is just fine. It just doesn't look as healthy as blow-dried hair that's all nice and shiny and smooth. So let's do this. I'm gonna show you the full routine with the blow dry, with ironwork, so you know how everything works, and then you can just kind of pick what you wanna do on a day-to-day basis. All right, so when you blow dry, your next product is going to be a blow dry cream that has built-in heat protection. If your hair isn't smooth and shiny after your blow dry, it's probably because you don't have a blow dry cream or you're not using a good one. If you go to sleep with perfectly blow dried hair, but when you wake up the next day and it's a total mess, blow dry cream. This is the answer. Blow drying without a blow dry cream is like trying to drive your car without air in your tires. You're gonna get terrible results. And on top of that, it protects from heat, so it's really a no-brainer. For your blow dry cream, the absolute last thing you wanna do is put it in your hand and then slap it on top of your hair. The way that you wanna apply this is from the bottom up. So put about a pea size. Pea size is perfect for everyone unless you have longer hair or super thick hair. Start with a pea-sized amount. Go along the bottom of the hair, ends, and then work your way up. If you have coarse hair, you can put a little bit on top, but really you don't want to put many products on the top of your hair unless they're for volume. So checking back in on our minimal hair care routine, you just finished blow drying. The only products you have in your hair are a leave-in conditioner and a blow dry cream. That's it. Like I said earlier, you can totally stop here, throw some oil on your ends and be done, but I'm gonna keep going and show you the full routine so you know exactly how to do everything and have all the options available to you. The next step is iron work, and anytime you use an iron, you must use a thermal heat protectant. Yes, your blow dry cream had heat protection in there, but it's only for the 170 degrees of a blow dryer. Irons are twice as hot at 400 degrees. You need something stronger. And that something stronger is a thermal protectant, which should also have hold in it, like this guy, so that whatever style you do lasts even longer thanks to that hold. This is the key to having an amazing style for 3+ days, because remember, we're only washing every 3+ days, so we need this to last. Another amazing bonus of the thermal protectants is that they're heat activated to add more shine. And since they have extra hold, you don't actually need to put the iron on your hair for as long to get your style to last. So your hair is shinier, protected from heat, and you don't have to expose it to as much heat because of the extra hold. If you use this, it really changes the game. With the thermal protectant, less is more. You don't want to put a ton on there. A lot of people use a lot like it's a hairspray or something, and they end up having this crunchy feeling on it. You're just gonna do a couple of sprays on each section, 1 or 2 on top, 1 or 2 on the bottom, and then you're gonna use a wet brush to brush it out until you can't feel this at all in your hair. If you can feel this in your hair, you've used too much. Once you know how to use these, there's no reason to be afraid of heat anymore. I have an entire video on the ins and outs of how to use this. You can check it out right up here. After your iron work, you're pretty much done. The final step here is applying hair oil, which is the final part of the Trinity hair routine. And this is responsible for keeping your ends nice and healthy. Your ends are really delicate. They're the oldest part of your hair. They've been through a lot. They're the driest, and they also need some help to stay hydrated. That's where your oil comes in. With hair oil, a little goes a really long way. It's easy to put way too much of this in your hair, which is gonna make it feel greasy and make it feel ruined. So here's what you're gonna do to make sure that you don't do that. Fine and medium hair is gonna take just a few drops in their hair. Coarse hair is gonna take 2 or 3 times that. You're gonna rub it together in your palms, and then run it over the ends of your hair over and over. Then when you have almost no oil left on your hands, you're gonna go over your mids. You're gonna start going over your mids and any flyaways that you see to just kind of polish everything up and get everything looking good. But the thing is, you can't do that right away. If you do that where there's still a lot of oil on your hands, your mids are gonna get gross. There's gonna be way too much oil on there. Don't do that. If you do this right, your hair is gonna be nice and shiny without being weighed down at all. You won't be able to feel the oil. And again, less is more when it comes to this. Start with less. You can always put more on. You can't take it off unless you wash your hair. All right, so that's the full routine, minimum products, maximum results. It's important to remember not to just copy the products that I held up in this video because everyone's hair is different. And you need to match your products to your hair type. If you want to figure out your hair type and the best products for it, I have a recommended product list right below here. Check it out. It even has a hair type quiz so you know exactly what your hair type is. In my opinion, this really is the perfect hair routine. It's the minimum amount of products to get the maximum results. It's absolutely amazing. Give it a shot. I hope you like it. Have a good one, guys.